The first problem, we are taking input from the user. It's a float value and then converting using this formula and printing the Celsius temperature. So here we have taken temperature 60 and then 60 Fahrenheit is 15.56 Celsius. In the second problem, it's the same problem, but we are taking input from the command line. So if we go here and take the input from the command line, the second problem, so second file, and we give a couple of inputs, 20, 10, 30. So here we have 10 Fahrenheit temperature, all these values that we are passing. The third problem, we need to add try exception block handle. So here the program is same, where we are taking the input from the user, making sure that it's a float value. If it is not a float value, this function will return value error. It will return false, which will come here, and it will exit the program. So to execute that, third, so this worked okay, and let's say if we pass in integer other value, all arguments must be float. In this problem, we are passing on different values. This evolve function is going to be it's going to print it and give the type of the input that we are passing. So integer, and we can pass a string value. It should be in the single quotation. It can be in the double quotation also. Let's say we give the list. Stupid. The same problem we are solving, taking the input from the command line. So if we come here, okay, instead of this, let's say we pass only a string. If we pass any number, that's an integer. And if we pass anything, the left value. So that's problem 5. In the sixth problem, we are taking the inputs from the user, time, and the velocity. Using this formula, we are calculating the expression and printing the value of y. So let's say 50 and 60 is the value we are passing on. And here we are getting the value of y, which is 9262.5. In the second problem, read from the values we are taking from the command line. So seventh problem, let's pass on two values for the velocity and temperature. That's the answer. On the second command line, we are doing the same problem. Extend the program exception handling command line arguments are detected. Index error block. Use the raw input function. So here we are taking the input from the user. And let's say if the input is not, we don't have two values in the input, it will give index error. In the index error, it will ask for two values. Then we can manually print the two values, give the two values for the two variables. If there is any value error, it will come over here and again ask for the values. If the values are not float values, it will be passed on to this function and it will be printed over here. Make sure if the value is float value or not. we have added this float string. So to run that program, this is 8th program. So when we are passing the two values, it's giving, when we are passing just one value, it identifies that the values are missing. So we have to give both the values manually. And that's how we get the temperature. And let's say if the value is not float, all the arguments must be float, and it's asking for arguments. So this is our answer. In the 9th problem, test if between, we are going to take the temperature value from the user and we are going to check if it is between these two. If not, print the abort execution. So we are taking the values from the user argument, assigning to via T0, and if it is not, then program is going to exit. If we pass on value 1, 3, the program is going to exit. And if we pass some bigger values, some still execute. The value of t lies between 0 to v0g. So we just added this new element. The program exits if the value is not within what we are expecting. In the 10th problem, it's the same problem. It's just if instead of abort execute, we are giving value error. It's working okay, but if we change the value 1, 3, it's giving value error. In the 12th, we have created this array which has all the days. We are taking the input. So the input should be the year format and then the month and date. So that will be assigned to each of these variables using the calendar function. We are going to get the input in the form of a number. So if the 0 number, that will be Sunday. If any number is 3, so it will be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Wednesday will be printed. So let's say to execute that function, today is 10, Thursday, and that's correct. In the last function, we are taking the data from the file. We are reading the file. If we are passing any specific word that we want to check in the file, program will look for that. Otherwise, program will just count the total number of words in the file. So to execute that program, first we are not passing any argument. We are not looking for any specific word. So program is just printing the entire file and the total number of words are 70. The second, let's say if we pass on the value, let's see, F capital, the total number of words in the file this, and the total number of fuzzy word is this because, okay, I think it's because of the quotation mark. Okay, now the total number fuzzy is 3, is 1, 2, 3. And that's it.